Welcome to the Communications Department at the University of Georgia Center for Invasive Species and Ecosystem Health. I'm Debbie Monfort.
I'm Melissa Wilt.
And we're fairly new additions here to the center whose reach has gone far and wide, and we're delighted to help share and communicate all the great things going on here, as well as assist our other partner project collaborators.
So part of introducing you all to this brand is to build partnerships and awareness. We already have a great foundation of partners that we've worked with, and EDDMapS has obviously grown in usage in the past years. So strengthening those partnerships is an important part of invasive species management. And right now, there are also other channels being utilized, and we want to, by strengthening partnerships, streamline the reporting process. So that's part of introducing this brand, is to help strengthen each other by creating that consistency in presenting EDDMapS as a useful tool.
Right. And once, you begin using a brand, all the parts that go with it, the graphics, the pre-part, the colors, the logos, it helps support that visual presence, to your relevant audience, becomes familiar. And by introducing the EDDMapS brand and moving into a place where we are identifying the work behind the scenes, the tool that's being used, as we begin encouraging use of that, we're giving an image to the name, just like anything where you get used to it's synonymous. You hear the name EDDMapS and you're going to create that light bulb in your head. Oh, okay, that's the marker point in the EDDMapS. So your brand helps increase your visual presence.
And by increasing that visual presence, you reinforce the credibility. So one of the benefits of EDDMapS is that it is verified reports. And as all of you are credible in your work, it reinforces that credibility as the brand is consistently used, and that increase in visual presence happens. And like Debbie mentioned, the whole reason for branding is when you see a brand, you know what it means. You know that it's credible. Maybe some partners, organizations, agencies, individuals that utilize it come to mind, and that reinforces the credibility as well.
Yeah, you're making connections.
Correct. And then you also know what to expect when you consistently see the EDDMapS brand across multiple channels, print materials, being utilized by all these organizations and agencies.
Yeah, you get a little bit of a, quality line there.
Correct.
So, and then the other thing with that is when you consistently see a brand, you become more aware of it. Like, oh, hey, I'm seeing this more and more. I mean, let's think about our social media feeds. We hit search on something and all of a sudden Facebook knows what we want, what we're looking for, what we just purchased on Amazon. So that consistent branding, bringing awareness, helps our audience see something, and, your interest gets piqued, like, ooh, maybe that's something, what is that? Can I use that? Is that something that's going to help me work smarter? Or, and this has been talked about a lot today, is there a partnership that makes sense to support my project's application? Chuck mentioned in the very beginning that EDDMapS was a tool that could support applications to do more. And so if you don't tell anybody about something, they don't know that it's there. So obviously branding something is a great way to create awareness.
And by creating awareness and building those new partnerships, the goal is to grow usership. And especially when you are using a tool that relies on individual reports, growing that usership can only help those in this field that are making decisions and utilizing this data. So it's a twofold as far as usership of increasing data and also usership of partners, collaborating to make tools that help their efforts specifically. And so now we're going to look, Debbie's going to go into the specifics of the brand guidelines, which will show you where to find at the end of the presentation.
Yeah, so a lot of y'all are used to seeing this. The logo was updated back in 2018, so it's not necessarily a new brand or a new logo. There are some old ones out there, and the way to know that it's old is you're missing that beautiful marker point, that brick red marker point. So that's the main thing that you're going to look for is we hope that you'll use our current logo. We do have a horizontal primary logo and a square secondary logo. So that's always nice. You can fit different needs, purposes, whatever. EDDMapS is available across multiple devices. So like you've seen Tristan give an explanation and a run through today, EDDMapS on the phone, and Jerry and his team gave the presentation on EDDMapS Pro. Just think about that, where you're using it. And, if you need to be device specific, use those mock layouts there. We do have specific colors if you want to match something there. So you've got marker red and density green and tagline green, and then good old fashioned black and white. Our logo fonts are fairly standard. Most of them are available like in a Microsoft Word document, Word program. And we have those listed should you want to be extra and match up fonts. As far as style and usage goes, we just, try and stay consistent. Spelling, gosh, it's tough for everyone, and the struggle is real because typing EDDMapS in its correct capitalization, lowercase capitalization, lowercase lettering is challenging. We find ourselves making a mistake there. So it's actually an acronym for Early Detection and Distribution Mapping Systems. So EDDMapS is taken from that. So you've got a capital E, capital D, and then map and a capital S. So
just trying to be consistent in that so people know that it's the same tool being used.
Right, give your fingers a workout. So in this presentation, our style guide, we've given some examples of correct usage and incorrect usage. Pronunciation is another thing. We love to hear EDDMapS. EDDMapS is something that happens a lot. We're not too much a fan. And then there's no S in between ed and maps. Consistency, awareness, just like pronouncing your own name, you love to hear it when it's pronounced in the way that you usually say it. Do I need permission to use this logo? A lot of entities and organizations, have you fill out this form and then you get the release to use it. No, we're just excited to get it out there. We're excited to be a partner. If we're helping you work smarter, do your work, your mission, and carrying it to a success, please use our logo. We just ask that you maintain its proportions, where you can make things look like they're squished or they've been sat upon. Just maintain proportions as best you can and don't alter it in any way. It's meant to be used with the Find, Map, Track tagline. And then, hey, share with us. Let us know that you're using this. Let us share our success in your channels. And so you can either drop Melissa and I an email, you can tag us or mention us in social media. We work better when we work together.
Right. And it's just, again, creating that partnership of marketing each other and our goals and efforts to just reach more people and again increase that usage and awareness. And so incorporating the brand, since EDDMapS has grown to where it is now, we have the drive to create this brand. And so I pulled some older screenshots from social media just to show us examples of how we can incorporate this brand moving forward. So again, we love that our partners are mentioning EDDMapS and mentioning this tool that they use to report invasive species, and just want to enhance it with the brand to create that consistency and that visual presence and get the brand in people's minds in invasive species management. So the 3 ways to report invasive species, it mentions EDDMapS .org or downloading the app, which is great. Just adding the logo again for that visual presence. And then these are social media. So as Debbie mentioned, hashtagging EDDMapS, a lot of our partners and individuals are already doing that, which is great. If you tag the center, that's even better. And so just again, so we can share it and build the networking of and using of this tool. The one on the right utilizes the most recent logo, which is great. And again, just looking at creating the hashtag. And just so you all know, the Center for Invasive Species and Ecosystem Health is on the major social media channels. So Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, LinkedIn, so any of those, some of them use hashtags, some of them don't, some of them you can tag, so any way that you can incorporate us so that, because now we are looking for those to share the successes that people utilizing this tool are putting out there. So here are some other examples, join the EDDMap community. Again, it's just really easy to mistype EDDMapS. So, just keeping it consistent with the spelling so that people know it's the same tool. Again, great use of the logo. And in the middle example, just being cautious again with the EDDMapS being all caps, just to ensure that it's the same tool being used. But again, having the logo there is great. And we do have the new guidelines. These were previous device shots that were used, which is fine. And then the last example on the right, one thing to note is social media especially is extremely visual in the sense that, people like seeing people. You find that the most, just a little marketing one-on-one, but the most viewed, shared, tagged, commented on are when actual people are in the photos, making a point of trying to capture people in the field, researchers, individuals, professionals in the field, utilizing the tool is great and is an extra boost to the visual presence of what you're doing as an individual or professional or agency. And then also just boosting, the online presence. And this one was great. We had the hashtag, we had the mention. So again, just it's hard to find these. So it's always great to see these and to just keep that in mind. Also, printed materials, posters, rack cards, or items like pins. As Debbie mentioned, you don't need permission to use the logo. On the website, which we'll show you in a minute, we also have like black and white, so different variation of the logo, just making sure that it's visible, it's easily seen in whatever graphic or photo that you're using. So we do have those variations if needed. And if you have it on your website, just making sure you have the most updated version of the logo on any public facing websites or presentations and things like that.
So where do you find this? As you all have seen, EDDMapS is looking pretty sharp. Just some new graphic content to it, but you'll route to the brand guide from our main homepage at the About section. It's the EDDMapS brand. And down here is just, the who, what, when, why, style and usage, how to spell it, how to say it.
Mm-hmm.
We have a downloadable brand guide. It's a real simple one pager. It's going to show you what the logo needs to look like, It has our colors, it has our fonts. What you see here now is our brand logos, primary and secondary logo. You can tap on the link and you can download it by doing a right mouse click and saving the image. And then we've got some logo variations here for you, black logos and the white, depending on where you're using them. And then a reverse logo, which is what you saw in that previous social media post. They use the reverse logo there. So all that's available. We've got a handy dandy, hey, download everything button. So if you know you're going to be working with this, please take that and use it with care. Coming soon, we will begin adding like some templates, maybe a social media template, postcards, fact sheets, just so that we can let our partnership shine. Again, it's something that we can cross promote. If we know about you, you know about us, and we can share those successes together. Now, if your needs become more than what's on this page and you just have a really detailed request, you're going to reach out to myself or Melissa and we'll get you what you need. We'll talk with Chuck and, maybe it's something that's come out of this summit today and a partnership develops and then we'll just walk from there.
Right, or different size and different formats, just depending on what you're doing, we're here to help.
And that gets us to the end of our brand. We're here. Just give us a shout.
Well, thank you both for giving us that presentation. I included the link to that page as well in the chat for folks if they want to look at some of those logos and branding. And we'll move on. So Erin's here. I'm going to have you share your screen. And Erin Eggers from the Utah Department of Agriculture and Food, and we'll be presenting on ArcGIS dashboards. I know we had a question about that earlier today, so excited to see your presentation.